Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And yes, you guessed it. We have yet another amazing guest. How do we do it? Well, amazing people just keep popping up in our community. That's how we do it. This morning, we have a wonderful full-time teacher who has left her job or is in the process of leaving, and we'll hear her story for full-time digital marketing. And my friends, remember that each and every guest is not a professional live streamer, actor, was not prepped or scripted in any way for this show. This is 100% live, so what you see is what you get. I have not talked to our guest before we start and before I talk to them here live in front of you. And so everything that you see and experience, I'm seeing and experiencing for the first time. You're catching all of our technical hiccups, bloopers, oohs, ahs, ums, and all the goodness that makes us humans human. With that being said, can't wait to talk to this guest this morning. Steph, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Was all of that accurate? Can I get a fact check before we start?
Super accurate. I actually watched one this morning because I was so nervous. I was trying to kind of prepare myself. But yeah, no scripts, no nothing.
There you go. So tell us, what led you to Legendary? I mean, what were you looking for? Do you feel like you have found whatever you were looking for, or maybe even what you didn't know that you were looking for? Tell us a little bit about how you got here.
So I got here because I feel like, I don't know, in teaching, it can be very fulfilling, but I just felt like it just wasn't there for me anymore. I still continue to teach with what I'm doing in digital marketing, but I was in this process where I was waking up and going to work and giving my all and coming home and having no energy for anything I wanted to do. So I guess I was just scrolling on social media and I came across it. And when I saw it, I was like, I guess I didn't realize there was a way to make real money with online marketing. I have a social media for my dog's account and I do fun things with it, but I didn't realize there was a real way to make money with it and all the things that go into it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So many of us start out, taking selfies of our food or of our pets, or I've been watching this one particular gentleman who's been filming his father, who actually has dementia, and he's quite cute and endearing and funny. And there's a part of entertainment. There's also a part of education that this guy is doing. And so, what struck at you? What ate at you? What touched you, metaphorically speaking, when you saw the videos as you were kind of scrolling? What stood out to you? What was the messaging that resonated with you that made you actually pull out your credit card and take our 15-day challenge, and then be serious enough? It looks like you've went all the way in with our blueprints, and you've become kind of a real learner and now an earner at this. Yeah. So what was the thing that you heard that made you want to really take action?
I guess just having my time. That was one of my biggest things. I wanted my time. I feel like so much of we always hear it, you go to school, I did all the right things. I did what I was supposed to. I went to college, I got a job, but I still never had any of my own time. And growing up, right, your parents get to tell you what to do because they're paying for everything and they get to tell you no. And then I went to college and I still was hearing no. And I was like, okay, when I get a job, I'm going to get to do all these things because I'm going to have money. And well, all of you know, what a teacher's salary is. And your job still tells you no. I know we get summers off, but I feel like that's something I hate hearing when it's you're a teacher and you get the summer off. But it's I still work in the summer. I'm still in my classroom. And I get 2 personal days, 10 months of the year. So my small salary and then trying to travel during the most expensive times, Christmas break, spring break, the summer. And it's just impossible. So I feel when I met my husband in my first year of teaching, when we first started dating, he'd laugh at me because he would just be like, Stephanie, your bank account, it looks flat. Money comes in and it goes out because we would spend it to travel or that's what was important to me was my time. And I wanted to travel and I wanted to see the world because I just kept getting told no on every aspect of what I was doing. And I was still on that right path or that, the right path.
Right. And that can be frustrating, right? I mean, doing all of the right things, being a good little boy, being a good little girl, taking all the right instruction, taking, standing in line and not being too loud, metaphorically speaking, and then watching other people around you who are, high school dropouts, college dropouts, right? I mean, a lot of these people who have gone on to create big companies and real wealth inside of our current day marketplace. I'm not just talking about the Rockefellers and the people back from, 50, 100 years ago. I'm talking about the Zuckerbergs. I'm talking about the Elon Musk. I'm talking about the people who are, a lot of our billionaires in our society are college dropouts, right?
Yeah.
And here you are, and millions of other people who, went the distance, graduated, did what you were supposed to do. And it feels like you're getting the crumbs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm frustrated by that as well for our nurses, for our teachers, for everybody in our society who works so hard and is so important. And you come to a point, I would assume, that you just realize, hey, if I'm going to have the things that I want, I sort of need to disconnect from the matrix a little bit. So how have you justified that in your head, and what limiting beliefs have you had to overcome as you just started the process of committing to this?
Like how did I just disconnect from the matrix?
Well, let me ask it this way. How have you made the decision despite the social pressure or the opinions of maybe other people who may have been rooting you on and encouraging you to follow this path? How have you sort of listened to your intuition and your own inner voice and set boundaries with with society, with fellow teachers, with maybe parents or friends that are on that same path too, and now you're disconnecting from it?
Yeah. So I think I've always had it like inside of me. I have really thick skin. I'm not a person that can be like I said, I hear no, but I'm not a person that can be told no easily. In my teaching world, I mean, even then, like I would come home and I'd be like, Mitch, like, do I come off rude? And he's like, no. And I was like, I don't know. Like I say my opinion, I do these things and I get these blank stares. Cause like in the teaching world, there's so many yes people. And I'm just not like a yes person. Like I will question you. I will do this. And then the other part of me is my husband has a very like entrepreneurial mindset too. So he really like pushes me and has really brought that out in me. And he's been one of my biggest supporters. So when I came across Legendary, I showed it to him. Like everyone is super skeptical and they look at it and like, is this real? Like he looked through it with me and he's like, Stephanie, you would be like so good at this. He's like, look at the things you just do for Miller. My dog is Miller's account. And I just think you would do really good. He's like, it's $7 to start. Like you spend more of that on like when we're at happy hour, like honestly, seriously, like you don't even think about it. So that was that limiting belief. And others people's opinions, like I don't think I've gotten like a lot of negative feedback from friends and family. Like they think it's really great and they can see that in me. Like a lot of friends have been like I totally could see you doing that. Like, I don't know, you're like, I like social media and I know a lot of people come in and don't know how to use it, don't know how to do this. But I'm just someone that has always been told like they could see that in me because I do use it and I do things with my dog's account. I have the teaching personality. So
cool. Wow. Yeah. That's really a great way of looking at things and a great way of being. Developing thick skin is something that, if you don't have it already, this gives you the opportunity to develop it for sure. Right. So what has it been like for you to, go through the education, begin to implement the pieces, and then you get on camera and begin to create content instead of creating content for Miller, your dog, which is sort of probably similar but different, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not you. So what has that been like? I mean, has there been any adjusting? Has there been any negative messaging or limiting beliefs inside of your head that have popped up? Have you overanalyzed or self-criticized, or fell into any comparisonitis, comparing yourself to others?
Oh, of course. I mean, obviously, I follow a lot of the top affiliates, and I'm just like, how can I do that? How am I going to become that? Like, I am going to become that. Like, I tell myself that. I have, like, I don't know if that's the teacher in me. I have that positive mindset. Not that I never get down. Like, I totally do. There have been days I have slammed my computer shut and I have to go take a break. But I don't know. Like, taking pictures of my dog, like you said, is different. It's of my dog. It didn't bother me to get on camera. Sure, I was nervous. And when I first started, I filmed it 20, 30 times before I was like ready to post it. I've gotten a lot better than that now. Like, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to record this part like 3 times is all I get. And then I'm going to post it or save it in my drafts or whatever I'm doing. But I feel like for me, it's like, I tell people when they message me too, like, gosh, I'm nervous. Like, I don't want to post in front of other people. I don't want to do this. And it's just like, when you see my video or when you see other people's videos, and you're like, wow, they look stupid. Like, no, you're like, wow, like they're doing that. And that's so awesome. Like, I think so positively on those people. Like I said, all those top people I do follow right now, like, it's amazing. And they just post it and they just do it and they don't care what it looks like. And people resonate with that and tell your story. And, you know, it's scary to tell your story, but like, just tell pieces of it that you're ready to until you get there. And people are like, wow, I didn't think of it like that. Like, you're always going to have the other side of the haters, but like, they're literally spending their time to come on your social media and say something negative. Like, I don't know. Like, I know it hurts people's feelings, but it's just like, I don't know. I sit and I read them and I laugh and I'm like, okay. Like,
so you make a great point that when you see somebody else doing it, you know, creating content, marketing, putting themselves out there, you know, it doesn't matter really what area of life. Even if you see somebody at a party dancing, you don't look at them and go, oh, what a dumbass.
yeah.
You know, they look so stupid. You go, wow, well, you know, they look like they're really having a good time. Right. And it's like, you know, if you're not dancing or whatever, you might judge yourself. And
Yeah.
if you're making fun of them, you're obviously, you know, projecting maybe something that you're feeling onto them, but usually you're just enjoying them. You're just saying,
Yeah.
wow, look at that person. They're having a good time, you know, and you're just kind of watching them and it's just all good. And I think this plays in really well to the liking gap that I often refer to on this show, which is a real phenomenon that we literally think less of ourselves and think that other people, actually, the best way to put it is we think that other people are going to like us less than they actually do.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
and have you been, I mean, you've got 27 something thousand followers or whatever on Instagram. I mean, have you been at all surprised by
I
the
was. Yeah.
response and the audience that you're building?
Yeah, I was super surprised with it. Like, when you look at those top affiliates and they have those thousands of followers and you're like, oh my God, like, how did they get that? When they say it happens overnight, like, it happens overnight. Like, in August, I've been posting this, like, in August, I had under 500 followers. Like, I was growing kind of slow and I knew it could take time to grow like an audience. And I was excited if I was getting like 1 lead a day. And I had just one video take off and I went from under 500 and then I'm hitting 10,000, 20,000. I'm on the verge at 30,000 followers. And it was just shocking because, like, everyone says like, oh, you blow up on TikTok. And like, I'm struggling a lot more there, but I repurposed those videos from TikTok right on Instagram. And I don't know, it's just drawing an audience a lot more there. And it's just funny to see people reach out, like, what are you doing? Like, that was me. Like, that's how I got started. Like, I was reaching out, sending the same message to all these people I admire, being like, okay, like, what am I doing? Like, do you see something? Like, how'd you get there? But it's just funny that people are now like asking me that. I don't know. I just, and so quickly.
And so how do you answer that? So pretend that you have 445 people that messaged you. What is the answer? And I say that because that's how many people are watching live, and that fluctuates by about 100 every 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
But what would you say to that one person 448 times? I mean, what would be your response in the simplest terms?
I just tell them, like, you have to show up every single day. And I feel like consistency is talked about so much, but people, I don't think they take it serious enough. Like, they'll be like, oh, I was being consistent, but I didn't see the growth. And then I stopped and I was posting, once. No, like, even those hard days where you're getting like a little bit of views, you have to show up every day. You have to post 3 times a day. Your audience is expecting you to be there. You have to be avid on your stories, like showing your life, resharing your posts so they see it. That's just something that really like stuck out to me, that I noticed was making a big difference. I personally, like, I don't have like an automated system yet. Like, I spend time like in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I am replying to every single comment, message. And it can take me a couple of hours sometimes, but that's how I start my day.
Yeah. I want to, we've got a couple of comments right here speaking to some of the things that we're talking about. Alexandra says, I criticize myself all the time when I try to be silly or just myself, like, wow, I must look so dumb. But when I see others being themselves or having a good time, it makes me smile because I love seeing people be happy.
Yeah.
That's so what we were just talking about. That is the liking gap. And you can look it up on Wikipedia, my friends, for those of you who are new to me and things that I like to talk about and teach. I like to try to keep it simple and refer back to the same thing sort of over and over again, because this is not that complicated. It's just basic human nature. And it's like we're you're a teacher, so it's almost like we're kindergartners going into school all over again, and we're having all of those feelings of, will I be accepted? Who am I going to sit with at lunch? Who am I going to make friends with? Like, all of those are coming up for us when we start this, or anything new, really, right? Because that's just kind of human nature. It just comes up sometimes for us as adults more critically, more, we're harder on ourselves. We've got more foul language that we use to ourselves. And I often say that if anybody else talked to us the way that we talk to ourselves, or if anybody else talked to our best friend or our husband or our kids the way that we talk to ourselves, we'd beat them up.
Yeah.
We beat them up. Right. So, Alexandria, thank you for, sharing something that is so vulnerable, and know that you're in good company here, that you're not the only one. And I think part of that identification in knowing that when you share something like that, you give us an opportunity to say, hey, me too. I mean, that's exactly how kind of we all feel. And it's about realizing that our feelings are not facts. It's just the fact that we feel, and we feel all kinds of big, crazy feelings.
Yeah. And even though I have that thick skin, I do criticize myself. Like, my husband will be scrolling and my video pops up. I'm like, you cannot watch that in front of me. Like,
right. Totally. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you for the last 13 years, I'm not sitting around watching my stuff. And now today, if anybody wants to know the secret of my success, I mean, unless it is a sales video that I am needing edited, or that's going to be some sort of a sales tool that's going to be on a static page, like our Business Builder Challenge page or something like that, that does need to be edited, that is going to be played, and I want it to be like really spot on video. I mean, you can see I've gone live here just with our clients here, 820 times. I like going live because it's just, I can get it all out, and there is no replays. It just helps me to get it done. Mm-hmm. And if I film a video, I don't go back and rewatch it. I know that sounds crazy to some people. Like, they're like, how could you ever do that? But it's like, I already heard myself say it one time. Yeah. Like, I heard it come out as I was saying it. And, I just kind of have developed that muscle over the years, that I accept the oohs, the ahs, the ums. And the biggest thing is when I have like a little like trip up or something, I don't stop. I just keep talking. I just keep going. And the biggest, most frustrating thing for me when I was getting started on this journey was I would be so self-critical and have such a big complex that when I thought that I did an something or what, I would stop. And then I would start all the way over. And that is truly exhausting.
Yeah.
And I just realized that I'm never going to make any progress if I'm always stopping, refilming. And so I just kind of got over it. And I think there's no easy way through that. There's no back door, side door. You just got to walk through the front door with that and just accept yourself. And just like Alexandria just said, there's no difference between you and everybody else who you see doing the same thing or creating content, and you look at them and you say, wow, that person's so happy. I admire that person. How funny, how courageous, how cool is that person? You're not like this alien who, if you go and post a video, people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't watch it. People are going to be like, wow, this chick or this dude's pretty cool too, Darlene said, this is encouraging because right now it's crickets for me. However, LOL, I'm only posting for 3 weeks. This will happen for me. I'll just keep learning and doing. And I wonder, how many times have you got a message from somebody who admires you or who's now looking up to you, and you realize that they're panicking or freaking out, but they've only been at this for a couple of days or a couple of weeks?
Yeah, you just have to keep going. Like she said, like she knows she'll get there. Like that was me. Like, this is no option for me. This is something I want to do. Like, this is something I feel I was made for. I launched in June. So August, at the end of August, honestly, so almost the beginning of September is when I really took off. So like I said, even those hard days when you think nobody's watching, one of those videos is going to take off, and then they're starting to watch your other content or the ones coming, and then it just grows and grows and grows from there. So don't give up when you think it's not, and you get better as you make videos. Like, I feel like every live I've watched in the past has just been like, like my content was really bad at the beginning. So was mine. But if you're making enough for 3 videos a day, the amount of videos you get over time is quick, and you just get better every time you make one. So
Katie said, what do you mean by reshare your content? Is it posting the same videos weeks apart? Can you explain a little bit more by what you mean by that and kind of what your content strategy is? Are you repurposing the same video that you make on Instagram onto the other platforms? And where are you first originally making your piece of content at?
Yeah, so I first originally make my content on TikTok, but like I said, I'm not seeing this like crazy growth people see on TikTok with it. But when I make it, then I save it, I repurpose it on Instagram, which then shoots it over to my Facebook page. But when I mean share it, like I literally share my reel to my story, but I create something that people can interact with. So whether it's like liking it or, my link or like sliding the bar, or just getting people to interact and be like, oh, she posted something new. Like they might see on their story, but hasn't come up on their feed. So that's how I reshare it. And then her second question, I do. Sometimes I go way back, especially when I haven't had time to make more new content. Like, okay, I posted this video. It did okay. I might, save it again and then make a couple changes to it or repost as is. And sometimes it does way better than back in the beginning of my journey. So.
Yeah. And that's the kind of cool thing that a lot of us don't realize is that once we make 3, 4, especially 5, 6 months worth of content, you can start repurposing those videos that you created before because you have new people, new audience, you're growing your reach. And it always is a great idea, especially to take your older videos that did do well and to either re-record the same video. I mean, essentially saying the same thing, doesn't have to be word for word, or just taking that old video. You can add a little intro onto it. You can just repost that video as is. So many elements of this business, affiliate marketing in particular, but just marketing in general. Even if you have a digital course, a coaching program, an event, even if you have a physical product, for God's sakes, the marketing plan really works the same. Social media turns over so fast, and people's memories are so short because they're going through so much content every day that they don't even remember the content that you posted last week, last month, let alone 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months ago. So we really have an opportunity once we get ourselves a nice body of work or library of content to then go and repurpose that, especially on days, as you said, that we're not either don't have time, are sick, not feeling like it, etc.
Yeah.
So Ruth said, I hate seeing myself on camera and hearing myself, but everyone else looks so good doing their own thing. I'm just not camera friendly, LOL. And man, that's not true, Ruth. That is so not true. And I just invite you to not reiterate that to yourself and drive that message home, because what you just posted is exactly what we just said about the last comment. I think it was Alexandria's, where, you know, we just are hard on ourselves. It's an actual phenomenon called the liking gap. People, please look it up on Wikipedia. Liking gap. We think that people like us less than they actually do. It's not just you, Ruth, who thinks that you look bad on camera, who thinks that your voice is annoying on camera, that it's not just you, it's all of us. It's everybody. I mean, I've even heard actors, a lot of them, famous, multi-million-dollar big shots, who say, I don't watch my own movies. It's that real of a phenomenon. You are a human being who's having a human experience here. Don't shortchange yourself and put additional roadblocks in your way that are unnecessary. Do you agree with that, Steph?
Yeah, 100%. No one wants to watch themselves on camera. I don't like to either. Like I said, if my husband's scrolling and a video pops up, I don't want him watching it in front of me. My mother-in-law asked for my Instagram handle because she had heard I had grown so much, and I was like, yeah, I'll give it to you. But you cannot watch these right now. Like,
right. Speaking of family, Jamie says, my son makes fun of me when I make videos. He's 29, so it kind of makes me hesitant oftentimes. And it sounds like your husband at least is supportive. But it's so often that we actually get the most criticism and hate, not legitimate I hate, but just, you know, making fun of us, saying little smart aleck remarks, little zingers, little side shots from our friends and family. And in particular, so often our family, who we can't really choose. We were born into them, right? I mean, if we're getting zingers and criticism from your friends who are not blood related, I really invite you to, you know, rethink your friend circle and really, you know that you are at a point in your life to where you deserve nothing but positive affirmations and encouragement from other people. And if they are not giving that to you and making you feel better about yourself than you can make you feel, then you probably don't need them in your life. But Steph, do you find it odd? And isn't it is a little bit shocking. I don't know how much you've experienced this, but when we start to get more hate and criticism from our own friends and family than we're getting from strangers out on the internet.
Yeah. I don't get it a ton. It's not that I haven't experienced it. I have. When I think of it like that, it's just kind of like, okay, you're asking all these questions and criticizing me, but it's like, okay, what are you doing with your life? You know, there's a reason there's a top 1%. So at least I'm doing it. At least I'm trying something. You can keep going to your 9 to 5. You can keep doing that. But again, that's where my thick skin, my confidence comes in. And again, not that it doesn't hurt. It does hurt. But you just have to think on that opposite side of like, nothing's going to stop me. And again, what are you doing? Like, who are you to criticize me?
Totally. And usually it's the most poverty-stricken people who are the ones to give financial advice. It's the ones who, right? I mean, I can remember when I first got, clean from drugs and alcohol back in 2008. And the very first thing I wanted to do with 1 month clean was go and give advice to all of my using friends about how they should and could get clean. And it's like, Dave, sit down, I mean, you've been doing this for a month. I mean, so you don't really have a corner on the market on how to stay clean, right? But it's just most of the people who have the real answers and solutions are not going around giving everybody advice and opinions. how have you though evaluated what you're looking for in friends, support groups, your inner circle, now that you kind of are taking a road less traveled with this entrepreneur path? I mean, obviously and thankfully you have an entrepreneurial minded husband, but what do you feel like you need in your friends and closest allies now moving forward, that you are sort of blazing your own path as an entrepreneur?
Um, I guess like my friend circle now hasn't changed a lot. Obviously, I mean, I'm 32 now, so coming from my 20s, like not hanging out with all my like high school, college friends anymore. Like my friend group shifted significantly. Funny, it keeps coming back to my dog, but I met my best friend through my dog, and within that friend group I have built, and my husband and I have built, most of them are entrepreneurs. So again, that kept pulling it out of me. And it's just like when I would go to my job every day and they all got to go to like lunch, during the week together, and I'm missing out on that, or they're going on this 3 or 4 day weekend trip together and I have to miss out because I only get 2 personal days. Like it just like pulled that out of me. And my husband and I like want all of these things. Like, he's in sales and we do real estate and, stocks. Like we have multiple streams of income. And this is just another one that I'm adding to it now. And my friends do that as well. So our friend circle, it's like, I don't know how to explain it, like as you grow, as you get bigger, your friend groups get smaller, but then the ones you truly talk to are the ones you're talking to about business and how to make your goals better, and the ones that are supporting you.
So you actually had a lot of entrepreneur friends, and you were the one who was having to report to your job and sort of felt left out in a sense.
Yes.
And so you now are kind of joining that group of, the people who are available during the day, right? The people who can actually meet for lunch. And I think that's something that, I've been desensitized to over the years, because I am for friends and people that I know in my personal life am available for lunch. It has been somewhat hard for me to connect and hang out, because I like to hang out during the day. I'm with my kids and hanging out with family and stuff at night. So I'm not really kind of, because I have small children, I'm not going out at night. I'm not going to bars personally and kind of hanging out that way. So, sometimes a lot of the people that I could potentially or might want to be friends with, even from recovery circles and stuff like that, are at their jobs. And so but however, speaking of lunch, I am going to have lunch with an entrepreneur buddy here actually after the show today. So I do have my people, and sometimes this journey makes us reevaluate. Sometimes this journey introduces us to new people. Some of our clients and students here in Legendary have met some of their new best friends right here in this community, because you find somebody else who's doing the same thing that you are, and you don't have to explain yourself. You're kind of passionate about the same things, and it's also okay to be passionate about new things, right? You're a teacher. That's a job that I'm sure you are passionate about, and most teachers are passionate about it. But now you're passionate about something new, right? And you're sort of starting a new chapter of your life. And that's really inspirational for all of us listening, who sort of, it's like we have a little bit of guilt. A lot of people have guilt about leaving their jobs and about leaving their careers, and have guilt and shame about starting new things and leaving, other people or, other projects or jobs or careers kind of behind. But you've kind of laid it out pretty clearly. You want to, continue to build multiple streams of income with your husband. Kind of what else is driving you? I mean, I know you filled out a couple of things on your questionnaire about wanting to contribute, I think, and not feel like you were being carried. I don't know where I read that at, but take us a little bit deeper into your head and your heart, and talk to us from a personal standpoint. Why does this matter so much just to you as a person, to
Yeah.
follow through with this and to be at least give this a try.
Yeah.
What does this mean to you within your head and your heart, and what also is driving you besides some of the external things like wanting time and wanting vacations and things of that nature?
Yeah. So I guess what drives me is I feel like I always felt so lost, especially like financially, like within my friend group now and with my husband. Like when they talk to me about finances, it would just be like so far over my head, like how things work. And I really wanted to learn about that because I've been blessed with so many resources. My parents were business owners, but wasn't talked about growing up, right? Like you don't talk about money. And I don't think it was like, any intention not to teach us about money, but it's just like, you just don't really talk about it, right? It's not a respectful thing to ask about. And so I never learned it there. You don't learn it in school, which, you hear 1,000 times. Like you don't teach really finances unless you take finance class. You don't learn it in college unless you go into a finance major. So I didn't understand money. I didn't know, what to do with it. And I always relied on like my parents and, my husband taking care of everything. But it's just like, I want to know how to do it. Like, I want to know how to take care of myself because God forbid anything happens to anyone in my life. Like, well, now what am I going to do? Because everyone took care of all that for me. And that really ate at me. Like, I'm so educated, but I'm uneducated at the same time.
Man, that is so vulnerable and so humble and so nice to hear, and so relatable too, right? You're right. It is disrespectful to ask somebody how much they make, or how much money they have, or what do you do with your money, where do you invest it at. It's almost like you're crying into somebody's personal business. And wow, I mean, what just a cool and inspirational thing for you to want to take that bull by the horns, even though you have so many resourceful people around you, obviously, that love you and want to work hard for you. That must make you feel special and important, and you want to know as well. And there's good logical reason for that, which you gave, which is, what if something happens to them? God forbid. How would I take care of myself? How would I not? I mean, there's a statistic, and I think there was a documentary done on this. It's not just you. I think that, I can't remember what the statistic was, but it was something like over 70% of NFL players over the years have been broke within 5 years of leaving the league. Now, these are some of the wealthiest people in our society, athletes, professional athletes. And that lack of financial literacy, that lack, I mean, we see all the ways in society that we can spend our money,
Yeah.
iPhones, cars, jewelry, trips, all the things on Instagram. But how do we grow? How do we protect our money? I mean, Warren Buffett's number one financial principle is not actually to make money or grow money, it's don't lose money, right? So it's like, how do we not lose our money? How do we keep the money that we've actually made? How do we pay? How do we make sure that our taxes are paid as we become entrepreneurs? Now we're responsible for paying our taxes. It's not our employer that's taking the taxes out of our paycheck. So wait, you mean all the money that I make is not mine? No, it's not. And oh my gosh, it's the end of the year, and now I filed my taxes. I went down to wherever I went because I realized I was responsible for them, and I owe what? I owe what? I don't have it. I spent it, right? So how can I maybe start to pay my taxes on a quarterly basis? How can I organize how I'm paying my bills? For me, these were also all lessons that I had to learn, and some of them the hard way, right?
Yeah.
Some of them the hard way, but it's all worth it. And
Mhm.
wow, that's what an inspirational thing to hear you say. What have you learned about yourself in this journey? Add on anything you want to the last part, but also tell me, what have you learned about you that you didn't know before you started this about yourself?
I guess adding on, the only thing I wanted to add was like that contribution part you had brought up is like when my husband and I decided to have kids, like our goal is that I would stay home, but I don't want to just stay home, right? Like I want something to do and I want to contribute also financially. So that was another part I wanted to bring out. Cause like teaching, it's hard. Like it's supposed to be this like family centered thing, but we get the least amount of like flexibility and time off. So if anything happens, like it's going to be up to my husband taking care of it. Like I don't get to just leave, work. And I get, so many sick days and so many family sick days. And then you have to write sub plans, right? Like, it's like, I don't just get to leave. I don't just get to go like, hey, I'm sick or my kid's sick. Like I feel like this past winter, like, I feel like it really hit me then too. Like I was so sick, and like as a teacher, and if any teachers are out there watching, like I know you resonate with this, is like, it is easier to go to work sick than to make sub plans and have someone else come in. Like there's just so much you have to write out. And I was like trying to go to work this day and I was like, I'm not going to make it. Like I'm like laying on the bathroom floor and I'm trying to put in for a sub and you can't. Like there's a certain time it cuts off where you can't. So now I'm like texting my coworkers, like, what is our principal's phone number? Like I need to text them. I'm not going to make it to work. And then I still have to make sub plans on the bathroom floor. Like, so just like stepping away from that and still being able to contribute in another way. I feel like I kind of spiraled there, but
no, it's wonderful. Thank you for saying that. My question before you added on to that last part, which again was wonderful, was what have you learned about yourself that you either didn't know or have been reminded of since you started this?
I think it just like, I learned about myself is like, I can do this. Like, I feel like I had the confidence, but like seeing my growth and seeing this, it's like, I can do this. And then just like taking my courage and everything I have and really applying it is what I've like learned and taken from it. Cause this was all in for me. My husband and I had a serious conversation of like, I am so unhappy where I'm at. Like he would be like, you gonna have a good day? And I'd be like, no, like I'm going to go to school and I have all these things I have to do and you don't get time to do them. And then I come home and all I do is I lay in bed and I watch TV and I sleep. So when I found Legendary, it's just like, there was no other option. Like, he's like, okay, like we have, enough savings, the finances, like I believe in you and that you can take off. Like I was able to resign before even launching. And I wouldn't like recommend that. Like, I'm not saying like quit your job and do this like right until you have it. We are in a position and our age like that we could, and I can't not have like this full-time salary forever, but my salary is not that much to replace. So, I started taking Legendary, and like you said, I invested in the blueprints. Like this was like my commitment to it. And I learned like how committed I could be and pushing myself. I came back from spring break, and I resigned. I finished out the school year, but I was like, we're going to have kids eventually. I want to be able to stay home with them, and I'm going to start this. And this is something I'm going to be able to do to stay home and have my flexibility, have my time, go on trips at the end of January and not tell my friends no, because I just came back from Christmas break, So.
Wow. That is so cool, Steph. I mean, your attitude is the attitude of a winner and the exact attitude that it takes to succeed at not just this, but anything. And I think so many of us think that we need some special ingredients to succeed at online marketing, particularly the models that we teach here, the core 4 business models of selling information online. But the same attitude that is required to succeed at any business is the same attitude that's required to succeed here. And you have it. And that's your most important asset. It's not your technical savvy or social media savvy. It is the attitude and the mindset. And it's such a perfect way to end another wonderful week of Wake Up Legendary shows, because it reminds us going into the weekend that we're not going to have the same, we're not going to, like you said, you're not getting the traction on TikTok that you hear other people getting. And each one of our situations is going to look a little bit different. Our success path is going to be a little bit different. Our audience is going to be a little bit different. our content needs to be a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
So we don't blend in. We need to be ourselves. We need to be creating videos and working on being more comfortable in our own skin. However, the mindset and the attitude is all the same.
Yeah.
That's kind of the cool thing, is that you don't have to have there's no secret success tips about attitude and mindset. It's that you need to do it and take action and push through the uncomfortable points so you can realize and learn about who you are and be reminded that you are courageous, you are brave, you can be creative, you can do hard and uncomfortable things. And when we do that and we realize that about ourselves, it's rather intoxicating. It's
Yeah.
rather addicting, because it's like, holy shit, I didn't know that I was this powerful. And you want more of it instead of going back to that place of disbelief in yourself and limiting beliefs. And tell me if that resonates with you. Are you now sort of addicted in a healthy way, sort of like
Yeah.
somebody would be addicted to going to the gym? Are you now addicted to developing your self-esteem and your confidence and doing hard things? And when something is uncomfortable, that you're doing here in your business, pushing through it, does that ring true for you?
Yeah, 100%. I get excited now instead of being like, oh my God, I have to go to my job today. I get excited like, okay, this is what I'm going to do today. Like I have to answer my messages, my emails. Like I'm going to bulk content today because I'm going to do these things with my friends now, that I couldn't do before. So it motivates me and it makes it addictive because of the potential it has and the potential I've seen. And the people that, now reach out to me and are like, wow, you're inspiring, or you're this. And I'm like, wow, like you don't think you get those messages and then you do. And I don't know, it just keeps motivating you to help other people see that, because you talk to so many people and it's just like their mindset is just so closed because they need, I don't know how to say it. They need that, they need that cushion of that paycheck. And this is secure. Like I get this amount of money at the end of the month or every 2 weeks or however you're paid. And they just can't see beyond that, but there is more beyond that. And you can build that working full time. Like I still, finished out the school year. I was still doing it full time. Like even if you put in an hour a day, like your day is so busy, like you can wake up or you can watch a wake up legendary and listen to it on your way to work. Like you can, listen to the books you guys recommend on the way to work on audio. Like there's always a way to fit it in, no matter how much time you think you don't have. So that was something like my husband really pushed me, like, Stephanie, did you get your hour in today? And I'm like, yeah, I did this, or, so it's just nice to have that. And having someone hold you accountable, but also having that mindset of like, you have to hold yourself accountable too. So.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, hey, congrats. And, really, really inspired by your attitude and your story. And I so appreciate you being willing to come on and share it with us. Is this your first time ever going live, by the way, or being live, or do you also go live on your own?
I tried it a few times on TikTok, but like I said, like my growth hasn't been there. So I kind of have just posted there and really taken it to Instagram. I haven't gone live on Instagram yet. So this is like my first live. I was very nervous for it. Like you don't get to replay it, like you said. So yeah. You don't get to fix, like if you say something stupid and you're like, oh, okay. Can't go back and redo that.
Well, I want to validate that this was wonderful. And it was great to talk to you. Extremely inspirational. Such great wisdom that you had to share with us all this morning. And just an amazing story of perseverance and of determination. And also just the part you shared that was so vulnerable about like having people around you who knew things but wanting to know them yourself, like wanting to have control over your destiny, not only for an emergency situation, but also just so you were literate about, the language that people were speaking around you. So you understood what they were talking about. And so you could also talk about it yourself and have your hand on the steering wheel for your financial future as an independent person, even inside of a relationship, a romantic relationship, a parent relationship, all these things. So cool, so inspirational. Please come back and keep us posted on your journey. Would love to have you back on the show again, Steph, and stay legendary, my friend.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, my friends, go and follow Steph over on TikTok and Instagram. Teacher to Marketer is her handle. Okay, so you can find that on TikTok and Instagram. Teacher to Marketer, spelled exactly how it sounds, over on TikTok and Instagram. A quick reminder that you can get a text message from us every morning, just a little gentle reminder, no spam, no crap, not selling any of your information. You can text WUL to 813-296-8553. Again, text the letters WUL for Wake Up Legendary, WUL to 813-296-8553, and we'll send you a gentle little nudge in the morning at 10 o'clock when we go live with a link to click to come right here to the live. My friends, that's it. Another wonderful, inspiring, empowering week of Wake Up Legendary shows. These shows are more valuable than what most gurus and goblins charge for, and they're 100% free for you to listen to, for you to re-listen to. You can find us on all your major podcast platforms as well. We actually take the audio and upload it there. You can, of course, come back to this Facebook page and rewatch the episodes. We also post them over on YouTube, and get into our curriculum. Make this weekend a weekend where you really commit yourself to finish whatever it is that you're doing. If you started our challenge, if you started going through our blueprint, my friends, now is the time. I mean, set yourself up for the best holiday season that you've ever had. Set yourself up for the best new year that you've ever had. Do it now. You know, you've got plenty of time. We're at the very beginning of the fourth quarter of the year. You've got all the time in the world. Now is the best time to get started. It's the best time. It is the best time to get started, because if you didn't get started 20 years ago or 20 months ago or 20 days ago, just like the old saying that when's the second best time to plant a tree? Today. Plant your tree, man. Plant your seed. Let that baby begin to grow. Now is the best time for you to get started. And you need to tell yourself that. Use today and this week's shows as inspiration to know that you have what it takes. You're capable. You're worthy. You deserve it. And now is the best time to get started. If you don't learn these skills, my friends, go learn them somewhere. Look, I'd love for you to be a client and a student here of Legendary, and we'd love to have you as a part of our community. But if you don't, if for God's sakes, God, learn these dadgum skills somewhere, somehow, because you're going to need them. You're going to need them. We're not going back to the offices. We're not going back to in-person. We're Zooming and Vrooming and FaceTiming and working from home. That's where we're at. That's where society's moving to. We have a commercial real estate crunch that's happening right now because people are not going back to their offices. It's sort of a silent recession that's happening that not a lot of people are talking about. So my friends, learn these skills. The best time to learn them, yes, was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago at the beginning of the pandemic. That was but you know what? Like the next best time to plant a tree is now. Now is that, because in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the road, you're going to say, wow, I wish I would have dadgum learned these skills back at the end of 2023. I'd be so much further ahead. And that's one of the number one things that we hear people say here on Wake Up Legendary is, I just wish that I would have got started sooner. So do it. You deserve it. And don't look back. Don't look down. Don't look to the side. Act like you're a racehorse and put the blinders on. That's what my dad always used to say to me. Put the blinders on, son, right? Just focus on where you're going. Look ahead. Keep your chin up. You deserve it. Stay legendary. We'll see you back here on Monday for another episode. Peace.